When Ford introduced the Maverick for the first time, I got to see it in person, and all I could think was, this is great. Finally, a truck that is not expensive, that it's comfortable, it's fuel efficient, and it was reasonably priced. In fact, this thing became a hotcake. And this year, Ford is making even hotter by slapping on a Wolf badge. When you look at the Lobo edition, which by the way means wolf in Spanish, it appears that the designers had some serious fun working on this beauty. What they have achieved with this design, in my opinion, it's something that you'd find mostly in aftermarket companies, like something like Singer would do. They have done everything that I would personally do to the Maverick, including the wheels, especially with this Oxford white. It's the perfect blend, and this would be my color choice. For the Lobo edition, you get 4 paint choices. First one is Shadow Black. The second one is Oxford White, which is the one that we have for today's video. Third one is the Velocity Blue, which is the one that we also have at this event in a different place. And the last one is the Carbonized Gray Metallic. You also get the choice of roof color, which gives you 2 options, black or white. The front end is my favorite part of this thing. It is designed in a way that it's not too shouty, but just enough brave and telling people that it just hit the gym. It's not just a standard Maverick. I love the grille, the way they have designed it. It matches pretty well, the glossy finish. But if you look carefully on the inside, it's got some flaps that open up when it needs more cooling. I love the little details, especially the daylight running lights, the blacked out portion at the bottom matching with the actual grille, and we've got the roof painted in black as well. And then moving on to the side profile, what I think they've done just enough so that this thing doesn't seem like it's screaming at you. Starting with the 19-inch wheels. Adore these. Simple as that. That's exactly what I would put in this vehicle. And then on the side over here, we've got the side fender, which has this sort of like a little grill here, like an air vent that says Lobo, also matching the glossy black from the grill in the front. Now, what I would have done here personally is paint these completely in black, but that's okay because you've got a little piece in there. Then moving on to the middle part over here, we've got this little side skirt just extended enough so that it doesn't become a joke of the day. The roof at the top, it's completely blacked out. We've got the tinted windows. And this vehicle is actually lowered compared to the standard Ford Maverick because you're giving that sporty stance that you need, and also a little bit for aerodynamics. Moving on to the back side where it gets even cooler with this bumper that generally looks like an aftermarket, which is great because it does look as sporty. It looks different to the standard Maverick. I love the design. It's got a really cool layout and it looks different. We've got the Ford badge, same thing in the front, black and white in this case. And don't forget, this is still very much a small truck, so you can still do trucking things. In this case, we don't have a power liftgate, but you've got tons of space. In fact, this is all the equipment that we have for today's videos. And then you've got a plug on this side in case if you want to make use of it, anything that supports that voltage. But in its core, it's still a small pickup truck. I love looking at this thing. It's almost perfect in many ways. The stance, the wheels, I'm obsessed with these wheels. They're just the coolest design. This is something that I would personally customize if I had to buy a Maverick. And generally down the road, I think this could be a great option for me as a second vehicle once I get rid of one of my vehicles. But the way they've designed this, it's perfect because it's not just a pickup truck. It's actually fun to look at and fun to drive as well, which we'll get to that in a minute. But the overall design on the outside with this Oxford white absolutely nails this thing in terms of the overall look on the outside. I love it. Jumping into the second row. Well, it's got a nice leather interior. I've got my coffee here, and what they have included this time, which is pretty cool, it's this accessory that you can use as a cup holder in the back. Take this right in there. And if you don't want to use it, you can just get rid of it completely and then just store it somewhere. That's it, simple as that. But in this case, I'm just gonna slide it in, put my coffee. In terms of tech features in the second row with the Lobo, you've got 2 USB-C ports, and there's 120 volts charging here if you want to connect your laptop or anything like that. There is a power window in the back. There's no panoramic roof in this case, but there is a sunroof in the front, and you've got this beautiful leather interior with blue stitching and yellow stitching to give you a different experience. The little details as well. The door handles, it is painted in blue, matching with the front doors as well. Lots of space. I'm 6'2", so that gives you an opinion. In fact, I've been sitting in the front as a passenger in this vehicle, so that just tells you how much space you get. You also get rubber mats and this sort of blue interior and white mix, which I'm kind of a big fan of it. And we've got the speakers on each side. There's an armrest in the center for another cup holder if you wanted to, which something like we've got 4 cup holders in this case and more cup holders on the door. I do believe you can completely move this thing like that. So now you got yourself more space underneath that you can make use of. And there is there's car seat attachment here, the Isoflex in this case. You can do this to fold it, and now you have access to a bunch of speakers and subwoofers in the back. Perfect. The front row, I gotta fix this because I have someone else with me. You guys know it's Brian Max. We've got a sunroof at the top, but when you jump inside, you've got the latest upgraded interior with this massive screen in the center. It's got B&O audio system premium, so there's a bit of an upgrade. Yes, it will cost you a bit more than before. In fact, this one is listed as $50,000 Canadian, which is a great price for this, with all the tech and the engine and the way it looks on the outside. You've got nice interior with heated seats in here, ventilated seats. Now with the Lobo, you do get some extra features for driving modes. You've got your sport mode. There's also a Lobo mode, which says you can only use it around a track. Although most people will not do that, they might just use it day to day, but it says there, warning, use it only around the track. And we'll talk about that because we're going to take this around the track. Yes, my first time taking a small pickup truck around the track. That's gonna be exciting. Moving on to the seats. The passenger seat doesn't get power seats, only the driver, but you do get leather with that blue and yellow stitching. There's rubber mats that say Maverick in this case, and you've got the Lobo badge so that when passengers jump in, they know that this is the Lobo trim, the Wolf. And you've got a digital cluster in this case. You've got nice steering wheel with beautiful stitching in yellow and blue, matching the entire interior. And this one comes with pedal shifters. You've got a 7-speed automatic transmission, which it is tuned to be faster and more fun compared to the 8-speed. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, to get into driving modes, you've got these buttons over here on the steering wheel that says modes, and you can switch between different driving modes. It also comes with cruise control, which includes your lane assist, gap assist, and so on. The actual steering column, it is manually adjustable. There's no heads-up displays in this case, but it doesn't matter. There is a 360 camera with this package, which is nice and handy. There's some space in here. Maybe you can put your cup temporary in there at the top. There's tons of space on the door panel. There's space in here, 2 cup holders, more space here by the wireless charging pad, which this does come with that. And on top of that, there is a USB port and a USB-C port. The rear window you can open with the button located in here automatically. There's some space in here where the armrest is located, and you can remove this thing in case if you want to clean it. But this thing has space pretty much everywhere, and you gotta appreciate that. I love the actual armrest because it's huge. It fits my back perfectly. The armrest with a nice stitching as well, matching the seats. Now, I wish they would have offered different seats with this package. And I mean, because these seats are not buckety enough. Like the side could be a little bit better. Myself, I'm a large guy, so I wish there were that, but I'm assuming they did that because they want to make sure it's comfortable for day to day. Personally, kind of like a bucket style would have been my choice, but these do the job just fine. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do a quick launch control and see how this baby goes. Pedal to the metal. Okay, so what do we have under the hood of this beauty? Well, it's your standard 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, EcoBoost, making 250 brake horsepower and 277 torque. Now, compared to the standard one, this one uses a 7-speed automatic transmission, not dual clutch, but it is tuned for more punchier shifts, faster, and will get you 0 to 60 in about 6.2 seconds or so, which means we may be able to do some drag racing with this. And if you have something in mind that you'd like to see this, maybe you want to buy one, and you're wondering, well, leave a comment in the section below and say, hey, I want to see this race this car. One in mind I was thinking would be the, well, Honda Accord 2.0 Sport. I know you guys love that thing. Next thing you need to know is that it is all-wheel drive. And the first thing I noticed, jumping as a passenger, not as a driver, was how different the suspension system is to the standard Maverick. In fact, it feels not necessarily stiffer, but firmer. And even the steering is so responsive. Look at that. It's just perfectly balanced. Now, the suspension system is not designed specifically for track use. In some ways, this is sort of your Ford Focus ST, because if you had to say the RS, well, that thing is unbearable compared to this. This is a treat. It really does a great job with potholes and cracks on the road, bumpy area. It's not as stiff and you're not bouncing like this. The suspension is designed to be also a good daily vehicle. And being inside here, it feels more like a sedan rather than a pickup truck. It is based off a Escape anyway, so it's not meant to be body on frame, but it still does some trucking for some people that care for that. Definitely upgraded brakes, bigger piston in the front, bigger calipers in the back as well compared to the standard, because maybe some people want to take this around the track and you want to make sure that this can take the heat and the performance. Not that this is a 500 horsepower vehicle. Maybe you want to make it that way and tune it. It's a very enjoyable vehicle. Even in sport mode, you don't feel like uncomfortable. The ride is just firm enough, not too stiff. Initially, I thought it felt a little bit firmer, but then with time you get used to it. I think they've done a great job suspension-wise, even the drivetrain. Let's not forget that this has torque vectoring, so that going around the corner, it will help you putting the power where it needs. Now, I don't have to be in drive mode all the time. We're gonna do some manual shifting in this beauty. See how it handles. Here we go. That's gear number 4. Maybe we can do a third. We are in third. So even in manual mode, it doesn't allow me to shift myself. Once it gets to a certain RPM, it will automatically shift. But let's try the gears. Pretty quick. Very little gap. I love what they have done with this. I love that we get this opportunity to have something like this. There's not that many options like the Maverick. Yes, there is the Santa Cruz, but it doesn't drive like this. Whether you pick the bigger engine, it's not going to drive like this. I love how low to the ground, and as I said previously, it does feel like a sedan, not necessarily, well, a pickup truck. For some people, that might not really fit the description of a pickup truck, but I think it does. And this is, we got a nice corner over here. That Kia behind me cannot keep up with me because I've got better cornering, I got better handling. She is lost, and I am gone. I love this. I love what they've done with this. Next step was to take this beauty around this little mini track that the great people at Ford Canada had set up for us. And in this case, we are driving a different color, which is Velocity Blue. Out of the two, for me, the white does it better. But this one, it's pretty good as well. And in this case, we have one of the engineers explaining to us how the differential works in the Lobo edition. So take a listen and pay attention.
So in Lobo mode, what he does is, like first say like in that back corner there.
Yeah.
As you have wheel in and you're on the throttle,
Yeah.
we let the inside front wheel spin up faster than ground speed. So it's It's adding a little. It has a little extra on the front inside. Okay. And that's normally what happens in a front wheel drive vehicle. We use that, and we average the front wheel speeds. Okay. And then send 100% of that average speed to the outside wheel. Rear. So it's going faster than ground speed. Right. It's not strictly speaking an oversped diff because it's not going faster than engine speed, but it's going faster than ground speed. Right. Yeah. So we use that to rotate the truck. And like we can with these clutches, you can put 100% of whatever's coming into the diff to one side or the other. 100% of what's coming in. Yes. Yeah. To one side or the other. Yeah. So, and I mean, this thing is. If you were to try this in a non-Lobo mode, like it's night and day how much you can do if we go over to Lobo. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Oh, that hurts. Here we go. I just got to make sure I do not crash this thing. Got to fix my seats, and we're gonna have some fun. I love track days. Let's roll, baby. Go. Oh yeah, this is a nice pull. Woo! Okay, so now I've got an idea. So that's how it works. This is fun. This is fun. The elevation here is a lot of fun. Wow, this thing is actually super impressive for a little truck. I love the braking, everything is just superb. Come on, Lobo. This is actually a lot of fun. I can see myself taking this around the track. Like, it's such a superb machine. Wow. Loving it. Loving it. Like, wow. Woo. This was fun. It's got good braking. It's got great handling. The differential does an amazing job when you go really sharp corner and fast. The steering is so direct in this. It's actually a lot of fun. And then what it comes down to is the fact that it's not a lot of horsepower, but yet you can have fun with something like this. So it's a truck that can do all. I love it. Love it. I actually can't wait to book this for some drag racing. It's going to be fun.